Alright, today's review will be on two Safari Ltd 2020 dinosaurs, specifically the Edmontosaurus and the Pachycephalosaurus. I really don't know why it took me a long time to pick these two up, but I'm glad I did. I think that these are among the best of the 2020 lineup. Now let's proceed by taking a look at the Pachycephalosaurus. It is about time Safari made a new Pachycephalosaurus. The last time they did one for their Wild Safari line was in 1997, and that one was very vibrant but outdated. And before that, we got the Carnegie one that was on the base. Now finally, in 2020, Safari and Doug Watson brings out this very nicely sculpted and painted one. Now let's take a look at the detailing. The detailing, you could tell Doug Watson made this because he always likes to put these apparent scale detailing that has a great feeling to it. Now, the detailing here is quite similar to the Ceratopsians, but I have a few issues with it. Unlike the Edmontosaurus, the scale detailing doesn't seem to be as apparent. If you have the Edmontosaurus, the scales are more like, I think, more diamond-shaped or just more thin, and you can see how more nicely sculpted they are. This one, you can see there's some smudging on it. And one thing I don't like about some of these Safari figures made by Doug Watson is that you have all of these nice scale detailing, which would have looked good if they were like all just all there. But unfortunately, the smudging has to ruin some of it. You can see right here the smudging on the leg right here, and then on the belly. Well, actually, there's not as much smudging as some other parts of the figures. See the leg right there? Well, actually, the legs and the arms are places where you would expect to see smudging. But everything else seems to be very well done. See, he's got these crocodilian-like osteoderms right here. Then you got the head right here, undoubtedly that of Pachycephalosaurus. And a nice attention to detailing is this little scar right here. Because we all know Pachycephalosaurus got into fights, mainly over territories or mates. Now let's bring out the Dracorex from 2012, which we all know Dracorex is just a juvenile Pachycephalosaurus. And I like how this figure has some of the features that this one had, such as the crocodilian-like osteoderms on the back, and it goes on to the tail. And then both figures even have a thick base of the tail. Now some differences are obvious, of course being the paint job. This one has a red face, a yellow underbelly, green, and then I think a dark forest green on top. I actually prefer this color scheme because it's very unique. See, it's got these the orange is right here is very horizontal, the striping. And what I find interesting about this is that the belly color is on the top, because usually the second layer of color here, the orange, would be all over the figure. But I like how the gray underbelly continues down to the neck, the middle of the torso, the top, and even the dome. Now, other difference is the Dracorex. Its feet are bigger and the toes are more splayed out. This one is more properly proportioned compared to the body. And also the pose. This is just strolling through the forests of Hell Creek. This one seems to be fleeing from a Tyrannosaurus or Dakota Raptor. Now see, what I've noticed about Safari's bipedal dinosaurs, such as this, say the Carnotaurus from 2019, or even some of the upcoming theropods from 2021. See, they always seem to be turning away from where this leg is backwards. You see this one? See, he's turning left, and then this leg is backwards, while this leg is forwards. Well, you guys know what I'm talking about, but it does make the pose look cooler, but it kind of causes some balancing issues. Because every time, if I were to accidentally shake my desk, it seems like he'll always topple over. Now, I'm hoping that in the future, for some Safari, for them to do for their bipedal dinosaurs, is if they're going to do like a pose like this, put this leg forward and this leg backwards. And hopefully they can do that without making the pose look awkward. So that's about it I have to say for the Pachycephalosaurus. It's a very well done figure. Moving on to the Edmontosaurus. I thought the Ichthyosaurus was going to be my favorite Safari figure for 2020, but I actually think it's going to be this guy. And I just realized why it took me so long to buy this. It wasn't because it was terrible looking, but it was because of the price. $27.99, which is a little more expensive than the Stegosaurus from 2019. Now, I know that this is a large figure, well, not the largest Safari's ever done. I still think $27.99 is overpriced for a toy of this size. I don't really know why it had to cost that much. Maybe because it was all the scale detailing. Maybe it was difficult for them to sculpt it. Well, I don't know. Speaking of the scale detailing, we'll analyze that right now. Like I said before, it's more well done than the Pachycephalosaurus. There seems to be more scales on this figure than the Pachy. And it also feels great as well. And this figure does have smudging, but it's areas where you would expect for smudging to occur, such as the hoof-like hands right here, and the back of the legs. See, there's even a bunch of detailing on the underbelly right here. Then you got the feet right there. Just three bulky toes, which is characteristic of hadrosaurs. And they don't have like the bird-like scales, which is, now inaccurate on hadrosaurs and theropods. See the head sculpt right here? Edmontosaurus was one of the many duck-billed dinosaurs, and they did a good job of conveying, the duck-like head of this Edmontosaurus. And this is Edmontosaurus regalis, and it's also known for its fleshy comb right here. Safari did an Edmontosaurus back in 2011. That one was pretty small and had brittle plastic, and that was also before the fleshy comb was discovered. And some paleontologists think that Edmontosaurus annectans may have had the same fleshy comb right here. Now, another great thing about this figure is the paint job. Now, the original Edmontosaurus had like an orange and yellow fiery paint job. This one seems to be more natural. Something you would expect for an animal to live in the wild forest. Because, probably a prey animal wouldn't survive with a colorful orange. Now, the underbelly is like a sandy color, and then the second layer is kind of like a mix between orange and peach, and then the top is like this, I think it's a dark brown, and then the fleshy comb is red. I think it's a great choice of colors for this Edmontosaurus. And see, there's a different patterning across the figure. Of course, on the head, you got these thin little stripes on the face right here, which I think looks very well done. But moving down, you get like these spots on the torso and the thigh, and then you get like these thicker, more airbrush striping on the tail. So I think it's actually kind of cool that Safari is painting different patternings on the figure. Now, one thing I've noticed is that on the right of the figure, the spotting on the torso seems to be like more airbrush and not as well done as the spotting right here. And yeah, the same can be said for the striping on the side of the tail right here. So let's talk about the pose. Here is the 2011 Edmontosaurus, and you see this one is a dynamic pose, as if he's trying to defend himself or flee from a tyrannosaur. This one, like the Pachycephalosaurus, is more of a calm pose, which I prefer. I kind of prefer calm poses on figures because sometimes these dynamic poses, like, they do make good dioramas, but it also kind of takes up a lot of shelf space. So that's about it for the 2020 Edmontosaurus. The first comparison is with Safari's other three Hell Creek dinosaurs, specifically the 2017 Tyrannosaurus and the 2018 Triceratops and Ankylosaurus. The only one I'm missing is the Anzu, which I'll most likely get in the future so I can complete the whole set of dinosaurs from this formation. That's unless Safari makes more in the future. Now, I know that this is Edmontosaurus regalis, but it's the closest we can get so far. So if you're using this guy as a big Edmontosaurus annectans, I guess it could be in scale with the Carnegie 2014 T-Rex. You see the contrasting details on these toys right here. As we always do on this channel, we're going to be comparing the reviewed figure, or figures, next to the collected minis of Factinus. So that's about it for my review on these two Safari LTD dinosaurs. While overpriced, I think they're still worth picking up due to their amazing detailing and colors. And I've just realized that there aren't too many good Pachycephalosaurus figures out there. I think that this Safari one is probably the first one. Papo did one, but that was pretty small and it was Jurassic Park inspired. Collected also did one, but that was also rather small. But I think it was still good, but this Safari one is just superior. Now, if you guys like this... Oh yeah, I forgot. How can I forget to give these toys ratings? Edmontosaurus, I'm going to have to give him a 10 out of 10. Pachycephalosaurus, probably a 9 out of 10. So if you guys like this video, leave a comment, like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next review.